Hey, Ted Morrissey here. Quick video as we prepare to finalize our websites, our blogs, perhaps our social media accounts. As writers, we want to think about all the different people who may be visiting them. I think that there's this sort of working assumption that we are creating authorial web pages and we're creating X accounts, Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts, Meta accounts, whatever accounts, to try to attract readers to our books and so on. It's a nice idea, and maybe it kind of works for some writers, but I don't know that that's really true. I think it's important to have a web presence. It's better to have one than not to have one. But does it attract readers? That's a dubious claim, I think. I know I don't find books that I want to read via web page searches of authors, or for that matter, rarely do I find anything in my Twitter feed or my Instagram feed that makes me perk up my reading ears and say, "Oh my gosh, I got to get a hold of that book." I read the New York Times every morning and I look at the book review section pretty regularly. I read some of the reviews, and if they look interesting, then I go to see if I can, request them from my interlibrary loan folk. I am a librarian, so I'm constantly seeing new books. That's true, but those are probably the main ways that I find the stuff I want to read. Again, either through reading the New York Times or just because of my professional involvement as a librarian. I don't go, Google searching for authors necessarily. In episode 2 of our podcast, A Lesson Before Writing, Brady Harrison, Grant Tracy, and I talk about this whole subject of the authorial presence and to have web pages or not to have web pages. And, they both have some other angles on that besides the one I just shared with you. I think the bottom line here is that as we move forward, as you develop your web page, and certainly as you keep kind of expanding on it and revising it beyond this course that you're taking, that you think about all the different people that may be interested in looking at your site that aren't necessarily readers looking for a book to read just for recreational reading purposes. I mean, it's great if they go there. It's great if they buy your book. But think about other kinds of people, editors who may be interested in publishing you, but they want to find out a little bit more about you, find out more about who you are as a person. What else have you published before they make a decision about, yes, I'll publish this story or poem or essay or whatever it might be. Maybe an agent who is, you've contacted probably, and they're maybe thinking seriously about representing you in whatever book you're trying to get them to represent, but maybe they want to just find out more about you. Maybe they'll go to your website and just kind of see who you are as a writer, as a person. Are you an organized person? Is your website up to date? Do you have a strong social media presence? Or are you someone that they can work with as an agent to a writer or a publisher? You've sent someone via the slush pile of manuscript, and they want to find out more about you as they're looking at your work. So, what does that mean exactly? Well, it can mean all kinds of things, and I'm not going to go through a whole litany of possibilities, but I think it's important. It's an important shift in mindset, so that you're not so much creating your website for readers, but rather for the kinds of people who can help advance your career. Again, editors, agents, publishers, maybe directors, studios that may want to, buy the rights to a work or something like that. Okay, so I think that's a little bit different mindset, and I think a website might evolve differently and have different kinds of nodes and be organized perhaps a little bit differently if you are thinking of it as a representation of yourself to others who might advance your career and not just sort of the everyday reader who maybe wants to buy a good read. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think those are different types of functions of a website. And so if you're only thinking of a website and a social media platform as a way to attract readers, it may not be the most effective and the fullest way to consider your site. All right, I'm going to stop there. I just wanted to throw that out at you for your consideration.